Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Next Rung Radio podcast, where we help you step into your power one rung at a time. I'm your host, Ron Creech. And let me tell you, I am beyond excited today because my guest is the true definition of chemistry. One brings in haunting cello lines and soaring vocals, and the other a soulful voice and grounded warmth. Together, they're crafting a sound that is raw, rich, and real. Beck and Call are truly carving their own lane, and trust me, you're going to feel every note. So let's welcome to the show, Becca Bradley and Chris Call.
Glad to
What's
be
up,
here.
guys? How are you?
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Man, it is so awesome to finally meet you guys. I've been wanting to do this ever since me and Mandy talked about this. I was like, I can't wait.
Oh, man. We've been excited about it as well.
That's so good. I know. Thanks for coming today because it's like 110 degrees outside. So
It's no joke. My grandfather used to say it's hotter than the devil's outhouse out there.
My grandfather said something like that, a little bit different, but it's close. Hey, let's just dive right in if you guys don't mind. Look,
Sure.
I know both of you had your own, I'd say, musical paths before Beck and Call. So, what let's see how to say this. What inner shift or moment of clarity led you to say, you know what, this is the next rung for us? Not just musically, but, you guys have been friends for a long time. Y'all played before you became together. So what personally brought all that about?
Yeah. Well, we have very different musical upbringings and backgrounds, but we also have a couple of similarities in our paths in that we both did the band thing at one point and got kind of burned by those situations respectively. And then we both said, okay, well, screw it. I'm going to do it all by myself and chase these solo careers, which I know, at least in my experience, and I think Chris would say the same, can be very lonely and just kind of exhausting to do it all by yourself. And so when this came about very organically, we had no real intentions of it turning into anything more than just two friends writing songs together and having fun.
Wow.
But it felt really natural and really right in the sense that we weren't in it completely alone. You had somebody else in your corner, but you didn't have like 6 cooks in the kitchen like you do in a band, which, there can just be so many conflicting opinions in that situation. So this just felt really right, at least to me.
That's awesome.
I mean, very true. Very, very true. I was very lonely doing the solo music stuff for a while. And you just never know who to bounce things off of.
Right.
And everything is so competitive. But when we started playing and, writing together, we started playing pretty early on because we were kind of thrust into this like situation where we had to kind of work together and play together. And then we started traveling a little bit and, playing music together. And then I remember the first time I brought a song to Becca, I was like, hey, you want to write something? It came so fast and so easy that, in life where you have those electric moments.
Yes.
Where you just know, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Something just happened. It shouldn't be this easy.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. And then I remember we started playing. We played a house party.
We did.
Yeah, at our friend Ken Leggett's house. We were there, and it was just this big group thing. And I remember some friends of ours were there, and a friend of ours named Scott, he listened to this, and he's somebody that I respect a lot. And he goes, man, I need to go out and write some more songs. And I just thought, oh, wow, okay, maybe we have something. And it's just so much more fun when you're playing with somebody else. I remember when I was on The Voice, the same season that Manny was on.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very isolating when you're by yourself. You have friends. Manny was a friend, But most of the people there, they're out there to be the best. They're out there to win the show.
Sure.
And I was thinking it would have been so much better if I had somebody like Becca along with me because it would have felt way easier. And that's how it is when we travel and when we play together. It's just easier to share the load tremendously.
Isn't it though? Especially to have somebody in your corner. That's the thing. Even if they're not right there with you, you still know that Becca's got you, or Becca, that Chris has got you. Especially when you're writing and stuff like that. I can't really relate because I'm not a songwriter, but I do coaching, and I have the same thing with I've done it for a while, and I met a woman that does coaching also, and it was kind of the same thing. It was just magic. Like we could feed off each other. We were trained by the same coaches and the same people and stuff like that. So I can understand the energy that goes back and forth with it.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about the voice too much, but you and Manny was on the same
Yeah.
same thing. That's cool, man.
It was quite a trip. I'd never seen the show before I was on it.
Yeah.
And then I really didn't watch it after. But I will be honest. I do remember the producer of the show told me this, and I did not believe him at the time. I'm like, yeah, right, buddy. He
Mhm.
said, you're going to make friends that you will have for a lifetime.
Okay.
And he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
I have at least 3 or 4 friends of mine that I could call them right now.
Yeah.
They're those kind of friends where you're like, hey, I'm in trouble. I need you. And they're like, I'm on my way.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Look, I know Manny's one of those guys because, I met Manny on a cruise one time with the Proctor Gallagher coaching stuff that we done, and it was just like, I don't know, a bromance magic. I mean, it was like, Manny, I was like, dude, act like we've been knowing each other for 40 years, and I just met him 5 minutes ago. Before I met on the cruise, and it was just a good thing to have, man. It was have that with you. I know a big part of climbing to the next ladder and owning your voice, and it's not just the sound, but the message. You guys have a great message. So, how was collaborating? How was collaborating help each of you grow to, or maybe rediscover? That's what I'm looking for. Rediscover a part of your voice that maybe was quiet before. When you said, when you guys came together, what came outside that was kind of hidden before?
You want to answer this one?
Sure. Well, it's funny. We talk all the time about this duo really shouldn't work. Like our individual
Should not.
styles are so different.
Yeah.
The stuff that I write by myself is very kind of pop singer songwriter.
Mhm.
And Chris's is very kind of soulful, bluesy. And somehow when we started writing together, it came out like this folk Americana that neither of us was expecting. But
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the beauty of writing with different types of songwriters. I've noticed if I write with somebody that's too similar to me,
Yeah.
it doesn't always work because we're good at the same things, but we're also bad at the same things, and we'll get stuck in the same places.
Oh yeah.
And so when you write with somebody who's just really different from yourself, it's really exciting because it's like, man, we come up with things together that I never could have come up with on my own. And we mentioned that we both kind of had solo careers before this, and the stuff that I released as a solo artist was all leaned more faith-based.
Yeah.
And so I had all these songs that I'd written that maybe didn't fit with those projects, but I knew there was something to them, and so I held on to all of them. And so when we started writing together, it was so fun because I had all of these, songs or starts of songs that I just had sitting in my back pocket for years,
Wow.
and I just
Yeah.
didn't have I didn't know what to do with them. And so it was really fun to kind of see some of those songs finally come to life.
Absolutely. I think we both kind of had some back pocket songs that we kind of brought into it. But for me, it was, I love the question. It's
Mhm.
like, what changed and kind of what brought it out? Like, because the stuff that I was doing solo wise, I still liked it, but I think I had kind of fallen out of love with it. I was kind of just like, man, I'm so sick of hearing myself say the
Mhm.
same things. But then when Becca's voice came in, and because she is so pop driven, I can lean on her pop sensibilities,
Mhm.
and I can also lean on, she's this incredible cellist. Like,
Yeah.
she got an award. I'm going to brag on her. She got an
Do it.
award, top 4th in the cellist in Nashville, right?
I think it was top 8.
I thought I kept
don't
telling
know.
everybody top 4.
I mean,
it doesn't
you
matter.
tell 'em what
She's
you
top
want to
4th.
tell 'em.
That's right.
She's top 4.
We'll edit that part about
Yeah.
the 8th. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But she can bring in music theory that I would never think of.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
and also because I can be with a blues background, it can be very one-dimensional after a while, but the pop sensibilities that she'll bring in, and it never feels, so far, it doesn't feel like a struggle when we write. It feels like an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
It sounds like when you're in a conversation with somebody that's had a completely different life path than you,
Mhm.
and you're not going, oh, yeah, me too. And then it's just boring. It's
Right.
just like, oh, I grew up on a sailboat. Oh, I grew up in the desert. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
That's a good
so, yeah,
analogy.
it's desert meets the Delta. And
Yeah.
I love it. So it's when we started writing, we were able to talk about, we, at least I can speak for me, and I feel like you could probably say the same thing. For the longest time, I kept thinking, okay, well, how does my faith interact with all this stuff. And I finally just let that crap go. I
Mm-hmm.
just said, what do I want to say
Yeah.
that's
Amen.
true, you know? And the stuff that was true was, hey, I'm having relationship problems, or what do I do with this love that is not one dimensional, you
Mhm.
know? All the gray areas of life that I just wanted to talk about. And I feel like nobody freaking talks about. And so I remember bringing them up to Becca, and she was like, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And most of the songs that we write are in this tension space of
Mhm.
like the gray areas of life.
Yeah. I think our goal too is just, I mean, I say this all the time, but I want everybody who hears, you know, if you come to one of our concerts and we play an hour-long set or whatever, my hope would be that in at least one or two of those songs, you would hear a little glimpse of your story. Because,
Yes.
you know, we all share this human experience. Coldplay was in town this past week, and I was way too broke to go to the concert, but they had an event for the Recording Academy members the day before, and it was just this like really intimate sit down with Chris Martin, and it was awesome.
Wow.
And he said this quote that I wrote down because I was like, that is so accurate. He said, as songwriters, we are all trying to make the universal personal and make the personal universal. And I thought that that's
Wow.
so well said, because that's really what at least my goal is in writing, is just that, you know, we can somehow allow people to hear a little glimpse of their own story in our songs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I also like a quote, I think it was Stanley Kubrick, I'm not sure, but he said, I want to make people feel things that they don't have a name for.
Wow.
You know, like I want us to say things for somebody that is in a relationship or a part of their life, and they're like, I feel that, but I don't know how to define that emotion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and like Becca said, bring us all together
Mhm.
that way and make people feel like, oh, well, I'm not the only person that thinks this
Right.
or feels this.
So I want to ask a little different question. So when you guys get together, because you got me intrigued now. I mean, I saw when you walked in with your instruments and stuff, I was like, what? You know, me and Manny's talked about you duos a lot, but like songwriting, do you bring that to the front, or do you just come in with a humming melody and you've come up with something, or is it a phrase, or do you guys sit down and have this conversation like you're having now? Like, look, we want to talk about the gray areas of this or the gray areas of this, and then put something together. How does the magic come about with the songwriting that you guys have?
I feel like the answer to your question is yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's different every time.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny I'll look back at the songs that we've written, and it's like, I think every one has looked a little bit different.
Mhm.
You know, I think every songwriter out there has a hodgepodge of voice memos recorded in their phone, and half of them are like absolute nonsense. Sometimes one of us will bring in literally just like a chord progression or
Yeah.
a hook, or sometimes it's literally just an idea of like, what if we wrote about this?
Right.
We've written some where we weren't even in the same room for a lot of it. We'll send little ideas back and forth, and then it's
That
like,
happens a lot.
oh, we have a song. We don't even need to like sit down together to write it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's when something is real, it's easy.
It is. Yes.
There's been songs that I've written where I thought, okay, this would, like, there was one time I really wanted songs that people could dance to.
Mhm.
That's not the kind of writer I am. So all my friends were like, we don't believe this, and we don't believe you in this.
Wow.
And they're good friends to be able to say stuff
Sure.
like that to me. But the things that we write are easy because there are real thoughts, and we're having a conversation with one another. And because of her having these amazing pop melodies, and then me using structure of falling back on like folk and blues and all that, it just works. I don't know how, it just does.
That's incredible, man. Goes back to your first answer. Yes.
Yes.
It just works.
Yeah.
You know, you can't beat, it's not magic, but you just can't beat magic.
Yeah.
You know, the intuition or the chemistry between you two, like we talked about earlier, it goes back to my coaching with the intuition, like you're here and you're here, but you guys are on the same frequency, the same wavelength of producing what really matters to each one of you guys. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You know, and there's such a powerful honesty in your music. I listened to it the other day. I just can't stop listening to it. I think it's beautiful. But honesty isn't always easy. So what have you had to maybe let go of or confront in yourselves um, to write and perform and, this emotional transparency that's in your music?
I mean, I feel like the big one is just any sense of pride or ego. Songwriting is very vulnerable. It's like talking to a therapist or something. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
because people can see right through surface level
Sure.
writing, I think. And
Mhm.
so, if you want to write anything real and meaningful, you have to be really real and honest with each other. And so, like, we talk about anything and everything because we want to write about anything and everything. So I
That's
feel
a good
like
point.
any sense of pride or ego, you have to kind of just leave outside the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really well said. We talk. I mean, we talk like when we travel together, we talk a lot. We talk about our spouses, we talk about our life, we talk about everything. And having that open line of communication helps when we're writing. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's really, really well said. And yeah, just putting ego aside, but also for at least for me, there are some things where I want to sing about, and I'm like, am I going to make a fool out of myself by letting people know I think this,
Hmm.
or and then the older I get, the more I realize we all kind of think the same things and feel the same things. Like the details change.
Right.
Obviously, opinions are different, but everybody kind of wants love, and
Sure.
people all have gone through heartache of some sort, and and I think the more transparent,
Right.
the better the song because I could just tell you I had a bad day, and you'd be like, oh yeah, bad day's up.
Yeah.
Or I could say, my dog died today, man.
Mm.
I love this dog. It's been, and then all of a sudden you're like, dude, I love my dog.
Yeah.
Now I understand your bad day.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's where the magic of the songs that we're writing, we're just like, let's just talk about it. Mr. Rogers said this, and I love it. If it's mentionable, it's manageable.
Wow. That's cool. If it's mentionable, it's manageable.
Yeah.
Good old Mr. Rogers.
I love it, man. You're right because that's it's like I always teach in my class that when it's going on in your head and it's bouncing back and forth, you're having both sides of the conversation. You can't figure it out. But if you say it, put it out there to where you actually see it, then you can manage, like you said, you can manage what's going on.
It just helps, and it's also freeing to get it out there. And it's even cooler. We have a song that we wrote called Worries, and it's about anxiety. I
Mm.
struggle a lot
Yeah.
with anxiety and anxious nature, and I talk about that on stage. And very often people will come up to me and say, thank you for talking about that. Some therapists will come up to me and
Mhm.
say, hey, more people need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Or other times, people will come up and say, I have the exact same stuff happen to
Yeah.
me, and there used to be a time where admitting to people that I have to take, medication for my anxiety or going to a therapist, people
Mhm.
would be like,
Mm.
you're weird, like a sicko. What's wrong with you, dude? Now it's just going, yeah, man, I take freaking crazy pills. It helps,
Yeah.
and there's some people that'd be like, yeah, me too. Or maybe somebody that's just like, do you think it'd help me?
Yeah.
Uh, I think I'm just. I don't want to speak for Becca because she's not old, but I feel like I'm getting to an age where just honesty is always the best policy. Anything else is exhausting.
Amen. Just to be authentic, dude. Because look, the more authentic you are, the more people that you connect to you that are true to you. You will connect with people that when you put this persona up, you will connect with those people too, but that's not real.
Mm.
Right.
And millions of people suffer with anxiety, and I don't know that I have that bad of it sometimes, but sometimes, man, I wake up on Monday morning, I'm just like,
It takes me. When I mean it takes me, it truly like I will pass out, hyperventilate, just
Yeah.
have like these. I feel like the world is ending, like I'm gonna die. We were in Asheville once, and poor Becca. Oh my gosh, poor Becca. I was having a panic attack, and she looks at me and she goes, "You're freaking out right now," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm freaking out."
a little bit, yeah.
But she was awesome. She was there to kind of help talk me down and say some nice words. But yeah, I mean, in a day and age right now where it's hard to know what's real,
Yeah.
I feel like any little bit of honesty that we can talk about and share about with everybody else, I would hope that that carries a lot more weight than maybe it used to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't know, I don't think we give people enough credit sometimes. I think people can hear authenticity. I think there's this intangible element to it that people pick up on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So not to get too personal, but is there kind of a ritual that you go through? Can you feel it coming on? I mean, you know it's coming. And so, I mean, sometimes when it
Absolutely.
strikes me, when it first used to do it, you know, because I was trying to grow this business and trying to do these things. And, you know, I was kind of like you. I was, you know, moved to Nashville. All my family was from Louisiana. I was kind of by myself. And, you know, I got married to this wonderful woman and we had a kid and we had no family here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we were trying to run a business. She was self-employed, run her own business. We had a kid and it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. I think it happens to everybody in some form or fashion. You get that cold feeling in your
Yeah.
body, you know, like when you're real sick and you know, like, oh, I have to use the restroom right now.
Yes.
Your whole body goes cold.
Yes.
That's the feeling. My whole body goes cold. My hands get tingly. And maybe it's an artist thing too, because I think very dramatically on all these things.
Yes.
So molehill becomes mountain. And I can't see my way out of it, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And before I started taking this medication that is helping tremendously, I would just freak out.
Yeah.
And everybody around me, like I was useless. Like my wife, she has to talk me down
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, and she tries her best. But luckily, the medication I'm on right now, it just keeps me level.
Yeah.
So usually, when things like that would come on, and
Yeah.
I would start to freak out, my day was done.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 days where I would just have to sit in a dark room and just let it absorb me and
Yeah.
then just filter out. Well, now it just kind of keeps me right
Sure.
here. You know, I can hear something bad and go, well, that's not good. Let's figure that out.
Yeah.
You know, medication is truly a wonderful thing.
It is.
It took me a while to get there, but it's awesome.
Well, you know, it kind of leads into what I want to talk about next is, you know, for listeners who feel stuck, who are maybe what you just talked about, have the anxiety, you know, that on their current rung of life where they are right now, you know, they may be afraid to take the leap or unassured to the next step. You know, I want to ask you this. What have you both learned about courage, trust, and, you know, creative alignment that inspires you to go to the next move? I mean, you guys have a great story. We talked about some of the stuff off camera, but you know, it's where does the courage and the trust and the creativeness comes from?
That's a great question. I would say, at least for myself, I am going to regret not trying a lot more than I'm going to regret trying and failing.
Amen.
If I try and I fail, I learned something. I'm going to have a lot of lessons that I can take away so I can do it better the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just never try, that's going to eat away at me forever.
Right.
So I would just encourage people, like, take that leap even when it feels scary, and you might fail. You probably will in some capacity, you know, but you'll learn from that and then you'll do it better next time.
There you go.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good. I think for me, it was, I let too many people, too many naysayers get in my mind, and to where I thought, okay, well, I should just give this up. It's embarrassing at this point. So if you are somebody out there, whatever it is you're doing, say you're a writer, say you're an artist, a musician, whatever it is, your dreams, those are the abnormal things.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with doing a 9 to 5. Actually, I find that quite admirable. But to go the less traveled path will always be a lot scarier,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be riddled with self-doubt. But when I talk to people and they ask me, like, how are you still doing this, man? How are you still doing music? You know, after all this time, with so many ups and downs that I've had over the years, and so is she. She's had a lot of failures. I say, what else am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ask yourself, okay, if you're listening to me right now, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you personally, whoever you are on the other end, I'm going to talk to you. Let's say you're a musician and things aren't going your way. Are you just going to stop?
Yeah.
You're just going to give up? No, because it's in you, bro. It's
Right.
100% in you. Like, an athlete will always be an athlete. They may never put the pads on at 60 or 70 years old or whatever because you're worried about getting hurt, but it's still in you. You're still going to throw a football around. Like, so if you're an artist, or you said you're in fitness, physical fitness, right? There's something in you that says, yeah, I want to look a certain way. I want to feel a certain way. And it's so much a part of your DNA. And as an artist, you can't get away from it. Right. So don't stop. Find an outlet. And what I would say is the thing that helped me the most was lay down that pressure of being the best. Lay down the pressure of, quote unquote, making it.
There you go. Yeah.
Because for a long time, at least for me, everyone's like, oh, Chris, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. You're going to. And then when you don't, you feel like you're letting yourself and everybody else down. Lay that BS down. That's for sure. And go back to what we started doing, playing together, was we had zero aspirations. That's what's so wild. We have zero aspirations of making it. Our aspiration was, let's write a few songs and play around some local places. Just have some fun with it. Yeah. Because it was fun.
There you go.
When we had, can I tell them our 3 rules?
Sure.
Okay. So we had 3 rules when we started doing this is as long as it's fun, as long as it's healthy, and as long as it's financially feasible, we'll continue to do this. Wow. Yeah. And so we realized that it won't always be 3 at a time. And sometimes most of the time it's going to be at least 2 of those things. Sure. But I feel like we'll be in real problems if it's only 1, So let's take an example. Let's say it's really fun, but it's not healthy and it's not financially feasible. Right. Well, then we got to, move those things around. So right now, I mean, it's all of those things for us, which we're so thankful for because it's fun. I have so much fun writing with Becca. I have so much fun singing with her. And if somebody told me, hey, that's all you're ever going to get. Like
that's
you,
okay.
Yeah, that is okay. Like somebody, I shouldn't say that, but it was, at the end of the day, I truly believe, and would you agree? Like that,
with what?
With the fact that if the ride was over and we just continued like to write some stuff here and there and play around locally.
Oh, absolutely.
I would be very okay with that.
I think you learn to take it a day at a time in the music industry. The music industry it's a wild ride, and I've been in it long enough to know that, there are so many times where you're right on the cusp of something big and exciting, and then it falls through. And you learn to just keep your expectations low and level and just keep on trucking one day at a time. And so that's what we've been doing, and we're having a blast doing it.
That's so awesome, man. So let's expand just a touch more when it comes to about trust. So how did you go from your experience and learning to play and to being from who you are to the courage of doing it? Now you trust yourself to go on stage and to write these songs and to know that people love the music that you have and especially take the path that you guys taken. I mean, the path that you guys are on is, it's like I said in the thing, it's raw, it's real.
Somebody told me, I don't even remember who said this to me when I was first getting started in my career. They said, if you can see yourself doing anything else, do that. Yeah. Because this is a hard path to be on. But in all reality, I can't see myself doing anything else. And I think the first time you take that step out and you quit the day job and you go all in some creative project, like it is terrifying. Yeah. And I've learned to, like most people in the music industry, I do a lot of different things that add up to a job. But it has ups and downs. It has seasons where I'm really busy and seasons where I'm really, things are slow. And when that first started happening, I would panic and think, oh my gosh, is my career over? Do I need to go get some day job that I'm going to hate? I don't know. But I think you learn that these things have a way of balancing themselves out. But it's not for everybody. I think a lot of people would have a really hard time handling the ups and downs that come with this type of career path. And it's okay if you look at your life and you're like, I couldn't do that. Like I said, if you can see yourself doing anything else, do that.
Yeah. Everything else for me has always been there was no plan B.
Yeah.
It was always do a job that you had to do that somehow involved a way for you to do music.
Wow.
You know, always. And I think, like what Becca said, there comes a time where you have to step out and go, okay, this is now my job, you know. And I think that's easy to recognize because it says so in the numbers most of the time. I think what gave us the courage, or at least what gave me a lot of the courage to do what we're doing now and know that it was good, was our dear friend and manager, Keith Thomas. He found us in the craziest way, craziest story. But I've never had anybody believe in me and us ever like this guy does. And he is such a rock star in the industry. For him to go, this is my favorite thing. This is going to be great. And that helps each and every day going, okay, if you believe it the way that you believe it, then there must be something to this. That helps a lot to have.
Can I tell the story of how Keith found us? Because it's hilarious.
You have to.
Okay, so aside from music, my other passion in life is saving dogs.
She does.
I'm very involved in dog rescue, and I did not realize, but so is Keith's wife, Lisa.
Yeah.
And so she's very social media savvy, and so she runs the social media account for the local animal shelter. And so they had posted something about a doggy pool party, actually. And I had responded. I was like, oh my gosh, I need the details for this.
Yes.
And so she starts DMing me and talking to me about this doggy pool party. And she was looking on my Instagram page. And at the time, I don't think we even really had, I don't even know if we had a Beck and Call, anything going on. I don't even know if we had a name yet. But we had posted some little videos of us singing in a stairwell because it sounded good. And she was scrolling through my Instagram and comes across this video. And her husband walks past and like stops in his tracks and goes, Who is this? Can you set up a meeting?
We sing a lot in stairwells. A little trick I learned from the voice days. Everybody was fighting to sing in those stairwells because it was the only space that nobody could intrude on. Because it was like, if you were in the stairwell and you were singing, nobody else was going to go in and sing because it would have been a nightmare for both of you.
Right,
So people were always kind of in and out of those freaking stairwells, man.
Amazing acoustics.
That's right. Yeah. I love hearing about the voice stuff because, you know, Manny was on The Voice with you. He tells me little details here and there, and you tell me that. And I've been watching it ever since it came out. But, you know, that's the thing.
It was a trip.
So you guys, we've had several guests on here that's musicians and do their things and talent. And some of them say they didn't start playing until they was in their 20s or past college. Or it was you guys, because you just made me think about it. You said you've always done this. Has it always been music for you? Or you?
I was in a family band when I was a kid.
No kidding.
Yeah, I had no shot whatsoever. So I was in a family band, and then getting out of the family band, I was like getting out of the mafia, man. I was not. You too cool to play with the son?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. So yeah, my whole life, and then just been striving to get better.
Yeah.
You know, ever since then.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I started super young as well, but again, totally different experience from Chris. My background is all in classical music. So I started piano lessons when I was 6 and cello when I was 8.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a super musical family type situation. Like my mom, she's got a great ear. I think she could have done something with music if she, wanted to go down that path. My dad, bless his heart, is super tone deaf, but loves music, can tell you like every fact about every classic rock band ever. And so between the two of them, music was something that they just wanted all of us to try.
Yeah.
And my older sister actually picked up the cello first. And then I thought, well, that looks fun. I want to do that too, which drove her crazy. I'm in the middle of 3 girls and we all played for a while, but I was the only one that stuck it out. But I mean, I went all the way through college, like on a music scholarship and playing classical music, playing in orchestras and string quartets. And that was all my background. But I had this like sneaking suspicion that, I don't know, I was always too creative for that to be the end game for me. Like, no shade on classical music. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
And takes incredible talent to play that type of music. But I was always getting in trouble from my piano teacher when I was little for like trying to change Mozart or like she's like, that's not how it goes. So I just always had this itch to do something more creative. And so when I was in college, I went to Belmont University here
Yes.
in town
Mm-hmm.
and studied commercial music, which I didn't really even know what that was going to be. They just told me I can study things other than classical. And so I thought, perfect, I'll go there and I'll figure it out.
I can just see little Becca right now trying to improve Mozart.
Yeah.
This would be better.
Yeah. Try to slip that little note in there. Wait, what is that? What is that?
Oh, man.
Well, guys, I did notice that you guys brought your instruments in.
We did.
So you're going to play something for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm so excited about that.
Oh, yeah, that's
But before you do that, tell all the audience where they can get in touch with you at, or what where you guys are.
Yeah, so we have a website. It's beckandcallmusic.com. We also are on social media. We're just at Beck and Call Music on all the social platforms. And right now, we only have one song out there to stream, but more coming soon. But it's just Beck and Call. The song that's out is called Pictures to Burn.
Yeah. We also have a really cool music video on YouTube. I'm pretty proud of that as well.
That's awesome. I saw it yesterday again. It's beautiful, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, all right, guys. We're going to take a few minutes, set this thing up, and we'll be right back so you can listen to this beautiful song from Beck and Call. Hey, everyone, we're back, and as promised, this amazing group, Beck and Call, singing their debut single, Pictures to Burn.
Well, it makes my stomach churn when I think about you loving her. Did I even cross your mind when you made your move? Now you can't uncross that line. Well, it's too late to say you're sorry. Baby, what's done is done. Now you've got her and I've got your pictures to burn.
Well, it makes me grind my teeth when I think about how you played me. For 3 long years, I was your fool. Never thought you'd ever be this cruel. Well, it's too late to say you're sorry. Baby, what's done is done. Now you've got him and I've got your pictures to burn. I'm setting fire to everything you meant to me. And Baby, what's done is done.
Now you've got